Mr. President, my motion is on the age requirement for employment of Nigerians, both in the public and the private sector. And with your permission, I'll move on to read the motion. The Senate notes the uproar within the public over the unabated violation of Chapter 4, Section 42(2) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, which guarantees every citizen the right to freedom from discrimination. Cognizance that the Black's Law Dictionary, 9th edition, defines discrimination as a different treatment, especially a failure to treat all persons equally when no reasonable distinction can be found between those favored and those not favored, while the International Labour Organization defines employment discrimination in economic terms as a violation of human rights that entails waste of human talent with detrimental effects on productivity and economic growth and generates socioeconomic inequalities that undermine social cohesion and solidarity and act as a brake on the reduction of poverty. Pathetic that a graduate in Nigeria who could not get a job upon graduation and decided to go back to school with the hope that a higher qualification vis-a-vis a second or master's degree could give him a better employment opportunity is thrown into a career paradox when upon completion of his master's degree, he comes out to find that he is now above the age of employment and therefore not employable by the sole reason of age. Ironical that a graduate in this country can serve in the National Youth Service Corps program at age 30, but cannot be gainfully employed thereafter on the fact that he or she is above 30 years, a situation that is a flagrant breach of his fundamental human right. Note further that the circumstances described in the foregoing presents a predicament of the Nigerian youth who has the prerequisite qualifications, knowledge, skills, and is ready to work, but disqualified or excluded from on the sole and unjustifiable ground that he or she is above the age limit by reason of his or her birth, and this sad situation has led many to commit age fraud by going all the way out to falsify their age to remain within the age limit of employability to the Nigerian civil service and, of course, all other employers of labor in the country. Senate accordingly resolves: urge the Federal Ministry of Labor, Employment and Productivity to immediately draw up policies that relate to equality of opportunity and treatment in access to employment at all levels. And 2, further urge the Federal Ministry of Labor, Employment and Productivity and other relevant agencies to prohibit and discourage public and private employers in Nigeria from putting up job adverts with inherent undertone calculated to deprive any qualified Nigerian of being gainfully employed merely by reason of his or her age. I so submit, Mr. President.
I appreciate the attention of my brother, distinguished Senator Moro, but this motion is not enforceable. You cannot, under the Nigerian laws, impose on an employer policies with regards to age. However, in the Nigerian labor statutes, it is clear that once you are up to the age of 18, you are employable. But the decision to employ, whether you are 18, 19, 20, or 40, is the discretion of the employer. And this Senate must not be seen to pass resolutions in a manner that will portray us as if we are devaluing the essence of the conclusion that we reach in this House. There is no law prohibiting employment of people who are 30 or 40 or 50. But employers, depending on the kind of job they have, the skills required for that job, the strength and all the other things that the average employer look at in making a decision, I do not think, with profound respect to my distinguished Senate brothers and sisters, that we should interfere on that. Government could decide, for example, we can appeal to government agencies, please don't discriminate. But in terms of general application, the law with regard to employment age is already in our statute.
So in essence, you are opposed to this motion? No, use your mic. You are opposed to this motion?
I am opposed to this motion with profound respect.
Thank you. Distinguished Senator.
Let us not mix it with discrimination. When you employ somebody, you have a situation in which there are KPIs. There are things that you expect the person to do. Now, age plays a factor in that. The employer has decided that I want you to be in this position. For you to be in that position, you must have certain attributes. Those attributes can only be found. It could, for example, be development of your skills. And say, look, at a certain age, it will be difficult for you to develop those skills. And therefore, it is important in passing any motion that whilst we may be emotional about it, we have to be sure that it is lawful and legal. And I said the same thing that Senator Ashomole. It is something that is not lawful. So for you to say you urge the ministry to do X, Y, Z, when in fact the ministry cannot do it lawfully, I don't think it is right. Thank you very much.
So in that case, our players, when the junior brother celebrated 35 years and he was still 23 while playing in England. So we go to the prayers and see whether there will be an amendment. Prayer 1, urge the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment and Productivity to immediately draw up policies that relate to equality of opportunity and treatment in access to employment at all levels. Those who are in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, urge the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment and Productivity and other relevant agencies to prohibit and discourage public and private employers in Nigeria from putting up job adverts with inherent undertone calculated to deprive any qualified Nigerian of being gainfully employed merely by reason of his or her age. Those who are in support of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it. Let me thank the mover of this motion, distinguished Senator Yaya.
Service of the Federation to revise the extant guidelines for appointment, promotion, and discipline with a view to removing impediments and restrictions on account of age.
Thank you. The motion has been moved by distinguished Senator Yaya that the Federal Civil Service Commission and Office of the Head of Civil Service should immediately revise their guidelines on promotions, on appointment, promotions, etc., to remove impediments that tend to discriminate against certain public officers or civil servants on account of age, and seconded by distinguished Senator Goje. Those who are in support of this additional prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. I think that Senator Abamoro was, and for 7 years, they've not been able to get employment. So if people keep looking for people who are 20, 25 years old, it means that those other ones will never have an opportunity to become anything in the society. So I thank you for this, because it's a major, major issue of discrimination. Thank you. Distinguished Senate Leader.
On common Senate President.